I'm David Derringer, the Susan Morris Hillis Curator of Paintings and Sculpture at the Boston Anthenaeum, and the curator of this exhibition, which is titled Albert Wein, American Modernist, and it is the first retrospective exhibition of Mr. Wein's work since his death in 1991. Wein grew up in Baltimore and New York, where he studied at the National Academy of Design, the Maryland Institute, and the Beaux-Arts Institute of Design. He also worked for the WPA in the 30s and 40s, and this is one of the concepts that he created during those years, showing a typically what was thought of as American subject, in this case a harvest scene of a horse and a reaper, a female reaper, walking beside it. He was fairly successful during the WPA years, participated in many competitions, and even won some of them. This sculpture was cast in 3 casts, one of which is at the Museum of Fine Arts here in Boston, and this one is in a private collection. And it's very typical of the era in its subject and also in the form of the horse and the woman, and they almost sort of pas de deux that they're performing together, walking through what we must think is a very American scene. This is the original maquette that Wein made for a competition that was being held by the U.S. Corps of Army Engineers for a big relief sculpture to decorate a new dam, which was built in the 1960s in northern Montana, called Libby Dam. And Wein won that competition and turned this maquette into what became the largest granite relief sculpture in the world, at least at the time. Because the dam is in northern Montana, the lake that it created spills over into Canada, and therefore it necessitated a treaty between the United States and Canada, and that's what the relief sculpture represents. It's called the Treaty Dam Relief, and it shows an allegorical figure of unity holding the 2 powerful horses who pull in opposite directions but are nonetheless unified, representing Canada and the United States. And then Wein has incorporated an iconography which refers to both countries, with the salmon, the American eagle, maple leaf, and Canada geese. This sculpture was finally completed in 1972. It was carved by granite relief carvers, granite stone carvers up in Vermont, and transported by a flatbed truck out to Montana, where it was dedicated by President Gerald Ford in 1973.